At this point, I want to share feedback on a specific essay, and post sharing the feedback or post reading this particular essay, I want to share the feedback on this essay. And the feedback that I'm going to share with you on this essay is not my feedback, because I think I've shared a lot of my feedback. I'm going to share feedback from one of the admissions committee members of Stanford who's actually reviewed this essay. And I hope that, when you read this essay with me and you take a look at the feedback that's on that essay as well, you'll get greater perspective of what I meant when I kept talking about elasticity and focusing on a process to get a certain kind of a flow, because the feedback will be both positive as well as a little bit of negativity attached to that. So let's take a look at this essay very quickly. This says, evaluate a significant experience, achievement, risk you've taken, or an ethical dilemma you have faced and its impact on you. And there's a 500-word limit. So evaluate a significant experience or something that has had an impact on you. Very open-ended essay. Okay. So a misplaced foot on the accelerator instead of the brakes made me the victim of someone's careless mistake. Rushing through the dark streets of my hometown in an ambulance, I attempted to hold back my tears while two supportive emergency medical technicians comforted me. Although I suffered a minor knee injury, the trauma of that accident still lingers. Fast forward to the present. Now I am sitting in the back of the ambulance, a rookie EMT with my purple gloves on, stethoscope around my neck, and a red medical bag in hand. I'm also making sure we have the proper medical equipment stocked, including neck collars and long body boards. As I step out of the ambulance, bitter breeze nips at my face, shattered glass, two crushed car hoods, and traffic everywhere. The scene is put into perspective as I can finally see what's happening. I stop in my tracks. It is my accident all over again. Get the collars and boards. There is possible back injury, my partner whispers to me. I fetch the items, still attempting to deal with my conflicting emotions. Using the help of 5 other EMTs, we extricate the victim from the car and secure him to the stretcher. While in the ambulance, I realize now that circumstances have been reversed. This time, clutching the patient's hand, I try to soothe him and he slowly calms down. I keep my composure and actively try to help the patient feel as comfortable as I did, keeping all of his personal belongings close to me as we wheel him into the busy emergency room and transfer him safely. As we leave, he looked into my eyes and I could feel his sincere gratitude. Rather than being an innocent victim like the current patient was, I am now the rescuer. Even though I felt the horrid memories rushing back, I kept my duties as a rescuer in the forefront of my mind. Keeping my cool in the face of extreme pressure, I came out of the call a changed person, someone who can see a problem regardless of any bias I may have and focus only on what is happening at that instant. Confidently facing my own terrors, I felt as if conquering my fears allowed me to face my duties with a grounded and compassionate outlook. Tears stream, limbs hurt, children cry. I am there with a smile on my face, a stethoscope around my neck, compassion in my heart, happy to help and proud to serve. So this is, by most standards, a very well-written essay that talks about a significant experience that would have had an impact on a certain individual.
What I really appreciated about this essay is that the student really took the time to paint a very vivid picture about her experience in this accident and what she learned from it this entire time. And the lesson learned from this experience. She clearly went through a traumatic experience having an accident and going through an accident, and then was able to turn it around into a positive. Really explained to us how she was able to conquer her fear and then become an EMT, which is something that we as admission officers like to see. That resilience, that ability to take something that could be a very disturbing moment and really apply it and learn from it in a way that benefits other people and it benefits themselves in the long run, which I think those are all great things. The one area that I thought could have been a little bit helpful for us as admission officers, the essay, she spent a lot of time really again, painting that picture, setting the scene. And I think some students, one of the things that we see a lot is students spend a lot of that time in that essay, valuable space on that essay, really setting that scene. And they don't really capitalize the moments that they have to explain what they learned. We really only get that in the last two, I would say the last paragraph of this essay, in this idea of I conquered my fear. I was able to revisit something that was painful for me, and now I'm an EMT and I'm able to help other people going through similar experiences. And it would have been nice to hear that a little bit earlier on in this essay. She spent practically 4 paragraphs really sort of going through every detail of both the accident itself and then becoming an EMT. And it sometimes can be, again, you only have so many words on this essay to really put yourself out there. And so I would have spent a little bit more time really getting to the point a little earlier on. Sort of a last takeaway as I read this essay is I think it's beautifully written. Again, really vivid imagery, which I love to see. But I would spend a little bit more time really thinking about, what do I want the admission office and the admission officers to learn about myself through this essay? Beyond being able to conquer her fear, how is that applicable to her as a college student on our campus? Perhaps it means that she might want to pursue pre-med or the sciences as a possible academic journey. Or it says something about her commitment to civic duty and the community, and spending a little bit more time going back to this idea of how is this impactful on the student itself and what do we learn about the student. Spending a little bit more time allowing us to getting to know her in a more intimate way, I think would serve her really well in this essay.
The Adcom member really does a brilliant job in talking about how good the vivid imagery and all of that is. And then she goes on to talk about the things that are missing. And essentially what the essay is in the end, for all its merit, is what it's lacking is essentially it's not actually a super essay. So it's not talking about what the candidate would have learned or what their takeaway from it would have been, or, from those 5 questions that I put, and I can say this because I've done a lot of analysis on these things, that essay is talking about just 3 of the 5 things that we would want to talk about, in one of these specialist kind of essays. So the reason why I wanted to show you this sample is just to give you a very, very quick glimpse into how a well-written essay such as this would look like, and then what kind of feedback would come, and how if we did actually indeed follow a process, then there would have been a chance to even better this essay as well. And this is a well-written essay and it can be even better. And she did point out about the words part of it, but I mean, that's the challenge in the end of the day. That's the challenge with any type of essay writing. You really need to put yourself into it and try and understand how you could spread yourself as thin as possible across those few essays.